SMU upsets Miami 26-20. This was your classic Mario Cristobal special. The team was undisciplined. They were unprepared. They had several costly penalties in this game that was self-inflicted. They could barely even snap the football. I saw a bunch of delay of game penalties, false start penalties, just procedural penalties that could have been easily avoided if Mario Cristofraud had this team ready to play. And once again, this is another letdown season that looked very promising, that now is going to end in Miami making another appearance in the Poptart Bowl, which the Poptart Bowl is the best bowl game in college football. Who doesn't love Pop-Tarts? Who doesn't love playing in the Poptart Bowl? I guess Miami, you might as well put them in as a bowl tie-in for the Poptart Bowl, because that seems to be the new standard for Miami football. I don't think that the U is ever going to be back as long as Mario Cristofraud is the head coach. We just saw Mario Cristobal get outcoached by Rhett Lashlee, who had a roster full of former Miami players who are out there doing their thing. Rhett Lashlee coached circles around Miami in the second half of this game. If anything, Mario Cristobal should be fired and replaced for Rhett Lashlee. Rhett Lashlee is doing more with less than what Mario Cristobal is doing at Miami. Miami has one of the most expensive rosters in all of college football, but yet somehow Rhett Lashlee has been able to have more success at SMU than what Mario Cristobal has had at Miami with far less resources. So imagine what Rhett Lashlee could do if he was the head coach of Miami and you gave him all this money to spend on the transfer portal and NIL. I believe Rhett Lashlee truly would be the right coach who can bring back the U. Mario Cristobal just isn't it. There's a reason why Oregon fans were celebrating when he left and came back down to South Florida, because he was holding that program back. Mario can build your program up to be in a respectable 9-10 win team. But with the playoffs expanding from 4 to 12 teams, Miami should be a lock every single year. You're playing in one of the worst Power 4 conferences in college football with a significant talent advantage compared to everybody else. And yeah, you still can't find a way to even get to the ACC championship. This is another year that Miami is going to go without an ACC championship. And they've been in this conference for how many years? And they still don't have an ACC title to their name? Maybe this is just the new standard at Miami that we have to accept as Hurricane fans. Maybe the best that Miami will ever be is a 9-win team with the occasional 10-win season. Maybe they make it to an ACC championship game and they lose, because Mario Cristobal isn't good enough to win Miami anything worthwhile as long as he's coaching on the sidelines. You got Shannon Dawson, the offensive coordinator, snapping on him because his running backs are doing too much dancing in the backfield. They just won't hit the damn hole. And then you have one timeout left with 25 seconds on the clock. You got an opportunity to get a game-winning field goal up, and instead, Mario Cristobal chooses to nil out the clock and play for overtime because he had a quarterback that he didn't trust. And what's ironic is the quarterback that Miami didn't trust with 25 seconds left, one timeout, was the same guy who threw away the season in overtime. Congratulations to Miami. Welcome to the Poptart Bowl again. And I may be late, but I'm never wrong. I told you guys before this season started that I wasn't going to drink the Miami Kool-Aid this year because of Mario Cristofraud. Miami is one of those programs that has a hard time being able to build off success. Last year, you felt was a stepping stone to Miami being able to elevate, being able to win the ACC, being able to get an automatic bid in the playoffs. And now here we are with 3 weeks left to go in this season. And now we're looking forward to next year. We're going to do the same cycle all over again. Congratulations to Miami for winning the offseason national championship. Miami always dominates the offseason, but they never are able to take that offseason success and bring it into the regular season. Manny Diaz has a better winning percentage at Duke than what Mario Cristobal currently has at Miami. Rhett Lashlee has done more over his last few years at SMU with far less resources than what Mario Cristobal has done at a program that's pretty much given him everything. Rhett Lashlee should be Miami's next head coach when Mario Cristobal eventually gets fired. Rhett Lashlee knows how to maximize all the players on his team. Why do you think all the former Miami players that don't work out at the U always end up having success at SMU under Rhett Lashlee? Because he knows how to get the most out of them. He has D'Eriq King as his quarterbacks coach. Isn't that crazy? I feel old as hell seeing D'Eriq King on Rhett Lashlee's coaching staff. And Miami offensively, they are too dependent on Malachi Tony. Miami has no identity on offense when Malachi Tony can't get going. If you shut down Malachi Tony, you pretty much have shut down Miami's offense, because that's who they go to when they get into a bind. When they need a big play, they can always spam it to Malachi Tony, but he wasn't able to have the same impact on this SMU game that we've seen him have on all of the other games that Miami has won this season. And there's this weird conspiracy that college football is rigged against Miami ever being back. No, it's not. College football is going to go on regardless if Miami is good or not. Miami being good or bad has no impact on the rest of college football. People could care less. Nobody needs Miami to be good for college football to be fun to watch. The sport moves on regardless if Miami sucks or if they're good. And yes, there were a good amount of missed calls in this game, but at the end of the day, Miami still had an opportunity to win, and Miami had more self-inflicted penalties than what they had missed calls. People only want to bring up missed calls when it benefits making an excuse for why their team lost. Nobody ever brings up missed calls when their team wins. It's easy to blame this game on poor officiating, but there's poor officiating in almost every game that you watch in college football. Clemson just got screwed. They got defensive pass interference called on them when the Duke receiver literally DDT'd their cornerback. But that's just the nature of the game. When you have humans that are making decisions on a lot of calls that often come down to personal judgment, a lot of games are not going to be greatly officiated. You're never going to see a perfectly officiated game, not just in college football, but in any sport, until you get AI referees. Once we get AI officiating and robots are going to be the ones throwing these flags, calling these penalties, then you will have better officiating. But until then, you're always going to have missed calls. Like my high school coach used to always say, if you don't want the game to be dictated by the refs, don't allow the game to be in the refs' hands to dictate. And Miami unfortunately did that. And they could barely even get out of their own way. SMU just sent Miami to the Poptart Bowl again. And this was a huge statement win for Rhett Lashlee at Miami. This is one of those wins that is going to be a resume builder for Rhett Lashlee when he's eyeing bigger coaching jobs in the foreseeable future. I don't know if SMU is going to be able to keep him around for that much longer. Eventually, a blue blood program like LSU, Penn State, even Florida State, they're going to wake up and they're going to realize how good of a coach Rhett Lashlee is, and they're going to end up hiring. He's a great recruiter. He's a great tactician. He always has you ready to play in big games. Rhett Lashlee is everything that Miami needs in a head coach. And everything that he does well, Mario Cristobal seems to suck in. I will see you guys next year in 2026 in the offseason when we once again are buying in the false hype with Miami and they become the offseason champions and they end up having another disappointing season in 2026. The same thing is going to occur until Mario Cristofraud is fired as the head coach.